All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our next lesson for the Age of Industry. We're going to talk about different views in the Age of Industry, some different policies, some different views, some different beliefs, and a lot of different changes that people are going to suggest as well. So our objectives to compare and contrast the ways of economic thinking during the Age of Industry, and summarize the ideas of Marx and Engels in terms of economic relationships. Take a moment there to please read over the standards. And the desired result for today is what were views and beliefs about life during the Age of Industry. So staying out of business. During the Enlightenment in France, many thinkers thought that government should allow free trade and stay out of business regulation. They believed that businesses would know what is best for them, what works for them. Business knows what business does best, so this is referred to as laissez faire, which means let do, or other things related to the French term. But what it basically also symbolizes is a world without government interference in the business sector will prosper. So again, let the business sector do what they need to do without government interference. So Adam Smith will defend this. Adam Smith was a professor in Scotland in 1776, and he supported the idea that economic freedom will lead to economic progress. And he especially talked about this in his book, Wealth of Nations, which he stated that the government should not interfere in business. Now, the rise of capitalism. Other thinkers also support this idea, and this idea of capitalism. So capitalism, again, one of our vocab words for this unit, so I'm going to highlight that here for you, or circle it. Capitalism is an economic system where the factors of production are controlled privately and money is invested in businesses. So like Smith, others believed it was the best way to improve society. People like Thomas Malthus and David Ricardo, here are their pictures here. Both these gentlemen also agreed with Adam Smith that business should be free to do what business needs to do. Now, there are some, problems with capitalism. It isn't the greatest thing in the world sometimes. Some believe that government should intervene to improve the lives of the people. Sometimes businesses can be greedy. Sometimes they don't treat their workers fair. So in the late 1700s, English philosopher Jeremy Bentham introduced an idea of utilitarianism. And he believed that people should judge things based on their utility or their usefulness. And also means that government should do everything possible to help people. So utilitarian reforms, John Stuart Mill actually led the movement in the 1800s, and he questioned the idea of unregulated capitalism. Like we were saying before, businesses can be greedy. They may treat their workers poorly. They may take advantage of consumers or people buying their goods and services. So he believed that government should do more to control and reform capitalism. And another thing he also supported, which we'll find out later on when we talk about other reform movements during the Age of Industry, was he supported the right of women to vote and also supported prison reforms. Now, a utopian society. Robert Owen was a British factory owner who was shocked by the way that the working class lived. If you remember to the lesson earlier this week in live class where we talked about the condition of cities, the condition of factories, the condition of people were living in, he was just shocked by this. So he actually built homes for his workers and rented them for low rates. He also put in he also reformed, working conditions for children as well. In 1825, he actually traveled to the United States to build a utopia, which is a perfect society. Remember, we talked about that during the Renaissance, the idea of a perfect society. Now, the society only lasted about 3 years, but it was an example for other utopian groups that are going to spread up around the United States as well. Here's a picture of Robert Owen, and then there's a picture of his utopian society that he built. Now, the rise of socialism. Socialism grew to combat the negatives in industrialization. Again, pollution in cities, poor city conditions, workers, struggling with working conditions and living conditions. So French thinkers like Charles Fourier and Saint-Simon believed that the government should plan the economy. The government should take a very active role in the economy. So in socialism, the factors of production are owned by the public and used for the welfare of everyone. Again, another vocab word here, socialism. So factors of production are owned by the public, not owned by businesses, and they are used for everyone. Now, there's going to be some radical rises in socialism. A German journalist by the name of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, their pictures are right there, Marx is on the left, Engels on the right, wrote something called the Communist Manifesto. And in this, they introduced a radical form of socialism called Marxism. Both claimed that the middle class, the bourgeoisie, that were the employers, became wealthy off the labor of the workers or the proletariat. So they believed that the workers should rebel against their employers. They should riot, they should, protest, they should destroy factory machinery, that they should be in charge of society, that the working class should be in charge, not the wealthy, not even the middle class, that the workers should be in charge. So Marx and communism. Marx believed that eventually the capitalist system would fall, and that the workers or the proletariat would revolt and seize economic production. And Marx called this communism, where all means of production are owned by the people. Again, there's no vocabulary, communism. All goods and services are then equally shared in communism. And this will become a very common theme for a lot of countries, as you'll see later on when we go in the class. Some other countries, especially the Soviet Union, and even like we talked about earlier, like North Korea today, it's a very popular view belief for many people still, and even places around the world. But we'll see what kind of happens to changes with it. All right, so please try your best on the questions. Again, reach out to me for help if you need to. Hope you have a great rest of your day.